PCBWay is one of the leading PCB manufacturers out there, and it is the manufacturer I use for my products. Now, if you're either a hobbyist and or looking to create a final product, PCBWay is going to be a really great choice with their 24-hour and also assembly services. So go ahead and check the links down below. Hey, what is up guys and girls? I guess I do have some girl followers now, which is kind of nice. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the latest offering from Foxeer right now, and I recently received these a couple days ago, which will be going on a build. Now I like the way they're approaching this, and we'll get into it in a bit here. So we have a new flight controller. This is the F722V2, which is a 20x20 board with M4 holes that are converted to M3 with the rubber dampener. So this is a 20x20 board, so keep that in mind. It takes a raw battery input voltage up to 6S. It's saying 30 volts, but they're saying 6S, so I'd recommend you stick to 6S here. And it doesn't have a 9-volt regulator, it's just 5-volt regulator, and also does not have a broken out raw battery voltage pad. And we'll get into that in a bit. And here we have the Foxeer Reaper Mini. We have two different variants. I think we have a 45 amp variant, and we also do have the 60 amp. And what we're looking at today is the 60 amp variant. They are HGLRC, both of them as far as I believe currently. And let's talk about this. So as you can tell, we have a 20x20 mounting hole solution. And I think one of the first companies I saw do this was, I believe, Hakcrc. And before we get any further, please, Foxeer, if you're watching, don't use this type of foam. I had to clean it for like 10 minutes before the video. So you kind of get to see that little foam stuff just stuck here. But as you can tell, it's completely conformal coated, both sides. Some companies only do one side, so this is kind of nice actually. And yeah. So let's come back to the design here. Now, as you can tell, they fit less filters here. So we do have a little bit less filtration going on here. However, this is supposed to fit a specific use case, in my opinion. Now, this thing here is rated up to 8S voltage, 60 amps. And what's really unique about this, if you had some sort of a, let's just say a lightweight 8S quadcopter for some reason running lithium ion packs, this might be your best friend due to a couple reasons. And one, we get slightly less weight than a typical 30x30 and a 30x30. However, you might say, well, a 20x20 and a 20x20 will be much lighter. You're correct. However, it won't be able, or at least it won't have decent sized FETs such as these. So your overall long-term use, or if you have a high demanding setup, this is kind of the thing you probably want to go for. Now, there's plenty of stuff out in the market here, but again, you have Foxeer, which is a reputable company. It's been out for a while, and you could email them if you have any issues here. Now, if the issues is not your fault, at least, but if there is any noticeable issues, they will definitely take care of you, and that's well known of Foxeer, which is really, really nice here. Now, just for reference here, let's go ahead and get the size, because I think this is the type of stack where the size does actually matter here. So we're going to get the longest area from where the battery leads are up to all the way where, just the other side, basically. So this is around 41 millimeters, just like this, and if we get the other side here, we can see we're also roughly 40 millimeters here. So that's kind of nice if you were looking for something that kind of big. And the flight controller here, we're looking at 26 millimeters currently. And if we flip to the other side, hopefully it should be pretty symmetric, which is again 26 millimeters. So that's kind of nice here. Now let's quickly grab the weight before we get a little bit more deeper into this here. Now there are just one thing that I kind of don't really like on this, but it's not really a deal breaker depending on your setup, I would say. So if we weigh in the ESC here, we have 13 grams. And if we go ahead and weigh in the flight controller alone, which is around 4 grams here. So altogether here, we're looking at 17 grams. This is kind of heavy, but it does have decent sized filtration. You're running the latest and greatest will be a HGLRC, so that's kind of nice as well. Now, one of the things that I really did not like, and I believe Foxeer should kind of think about it in your next releases, is the problem with the flight controller. The problem is, or it's not a problem, the thing that I don't like about it is the fact there's no VCC pad. And for the video transmitter output, they're thinking that you might go with a 5 volt. So that's the one that's going to be broken out in the video, the VTX area here. And the VCC, if you wanted to access VCC currently, you're going to have to go from the ESC. You're going to have to go from this pad right here, actually this one right here, to power up your video transmitter. So you take the red wire here. That's if your video transmitter is a battery volted video transmitter. And if you're also using the Cadex Vista or the DJI Air unit, all you're going to have to do is basically just put a wire with your positive lead. And it can be kind of annoying, but it's not a deal breaker at the end of the day. and you do have every single feature you probably want. Now, if we come back to the Foxeer here, again, it's an F722. We do have memory on board, and it does have a 5-volt regulator. We don't have a 9-volt. We don't have VCC broken out, so keep that in mind. However, it also takes care of the connection between these two together. And if we look at the ESC here, we also see that the pads are also broken out instead of the connector, which is really nice if you wanted to use this ESC with another flight controller. It's also broken out on the bottom here, and they're very well labeled, so you could easily route those to whatever you want. Now, if we take a look at the packaging, let's just take a look at what comes with the ESC here, because the ESC hopefully has a low ESR capacitor, because you definitely kind of want one, and you also do have the holes here. So I recommend you slide the low ESR capacitor in first before you actually start installing these. So it's really nice. We get a pre-made Xt60. We get our rubber dampeners here, which are all just different sizes. We have a smaller one, we have a little bit larger one. We also do have our ESC connector as well. And let's see, what else do we have? We have a proper, we have a Rubicon low ESR capacitor. This is a proper low ESR capacitor rated up to 35 volts. So expecting you to use this on a 6S build, and it is rated at 560 microfarads, which is going to be plenty enough. And it's really nice that they've actually included that. Any company that's not including low ESR capacitors now are outdated, in my opinion. Unless it's like a super insane ESC, but we haven't seen any of those in quite a while in terms of noise filtration. Now, another little nice unique touch with this ESC here is they have really made sure they got the timing correct. So the noise should theoretically be much more optimized to be lower than almost, I don't want to say almost any ESC, but almost any ESC of this nature. So that's going to be a very interesting test to have done here, which I'll be testing this in the upcoming days. And I'm actually looking quite forward to this. And it's a pretty fun little arrangement here, but I guess, you know, it has its own use case here. And the pads are only accessible through one side if you're looking into that. And well, that's really it, guys. Everything's linked down below if you could check those out. Those do greatly support the channel. And come join my Patreon. Do a lot of awesome cool stuff there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.